listening to STR, The Sandy Times Radio. Culture, music, and beyond. Hey everyone, this is SDR and the Creative Hour, and today we're pleased to have Roberta at our studio. Hi Roberta.
Hello.
Thank you so much for making the time and seeing us today. I think we're going to have a very lovely conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So, to start with, we all know that you've had such an incredible journey in the music industry, from working with the iconic figures and then planning the projects across the world. Can you tell me how this started? Like, first of all, it's just how exactly you decided that you would do what you want to do.
I've just always loved music. So that's always just been a passion, from kind of recording the top 40 like, in my bedroom to making CDs in my car. It's just, yeah, I've just always been obsessed with all things music. And then I kind of never really thought it could be a career. I hadn't really thought about it in that way. And then when I was at university, I studied communication studies, which aspects of that were to do with the music industry and digitalization. And I just found it super, super interesting. And then after university, I actually ended up spending the summer working in Ibiza, which I loved. So I worked for Cream at Amnesia and Tiesto at Privilege. And at the time, again, I didn't really think that would lead me down a music industry path, but I met a lot of amazing people and learned a lot about the electronic music scene. And then when I came back to London, then I ended up getting a job in London in advertising and moved to London and started that. And then I kind of realized the only thing I was kind of super interested in is if we got a brief that was anything to do with music. And if it wasn't to do with music, I just wasn't really interested. So I was like, okay, maybe I should see what I could do in music full time. And then a role came up that was actually running social media for Cole Cox, Scarlet Space and Intech.
Nice.
And it just all fit together really. Because of my time in Ibiza, I kind of knew that scene well. And then because I'd been working in advertising and digital advertising primarily, I had the social media experience. So the two fit together. And that's pretty much my first job that was in the music industry. And then everything developed from there.
Oh, that is so cool. Do you remember your first mashup CD or something?
Oh gosh, I used to make, do you know what, it was probably terrible, to be honest, my first one. It probably had steps. There's Club 7 in it, so yeah, it's probably not delved too far into that.
I love that though, like mentioning that Destiny's Child is one of the top bands, like I think I would love to hear something that you do with their songs or something.
Yeah, I still stand by Destiny's Child.
Lovely, that's lovely. Also, so we're speaking about the biography now. Can you describe to me what you do exactly, like today in IMS and everything, because you have like a very long name and title over there. So if you could explain as well, like what's the role?
Yeah, so there's two parts to my role. So as the regional Middle East manager for Beatport, for the Beatport group, that's very much about kind of growing awareness of the Beatport platforms. So we have Beatport, which is the store where DJs, producers can buy electronic music. We have Beat Source, which is more for open format DJs where they can buy their music from there. And then we have a lot of production softwares as well. We have Loop Cloud, Plugin Boutique, Loop Master. So it's really kind of a very varied role, which I love, and it's just all about raising awareness. So that can be anything from, we've got a Beatport certified DJ course at selected DJs, and then working with regional artists on remix competitions. We did one recently with Cosmicat.
Nice.
So that's kind of that part of the role, and doing our Beatport Presents events, which we're launching with Soho Garden as part of IMS. So what I love about the role is, it's really varied, really creative, and a lot about collaboration, which are kind of, all things that I really enjoy working on. And then the other part of my role is working on IMS Dubai. So IMS is now part of the Beatport group. Beatport acquired IMS 2023, so last year. And as part of that acquisition, there's a big look at kind of how we can expand the brand globally. I'm really excited to be, as part of that, to be launching IMS here in the Middle East in Dubai. And so my role has been kind of being the on the ground, eyes, ears, everything else really.
Nice.
On pulling it all together, and then working really closely with the co-founder of IMS, Ben Turner, on curation.
Oh, that's lovely. That sounds amazing. Who were your main cheerleaders on the way? Like, who supported you when you decided to pursue the career in music?
I mean, my dad has always been such a huge support. Sometimes I will make quite, what's not like crazy decisions, but quite spontaneous. And I'll have something in my head and I'll be like, okay, I'm doing this now. And he's like, okay. But he always supports me and he always has my back. And I think that's always been amazing. So that, and then I'm always really inspired by incredible like women in the industry, and I've been really lucky to have some female bosses who have been really great at kind of developing me and just teaching me and empowering me in my roles. And I think I've been really lucky to have those kind of strong female figures as part of my journey, and I think that has actually made a big impact on where I am today.
Amazing. Do you remember what your dad used to listen to when you were younger, or maybe the female bosses or female figures? Like, if you remember anything as a kid, which music you were surrounded by?
So my dad loved Dexy's Midnight Runners. I don't know if you know the song "Come On Eileen." That's like I always think of that if I think of my dad. He loved that one. Still does. He still loves that song. It is a bit of a banger. To be fair, it goes off. So he was kind of into he still loves all of kind of that. I'm trying to think what else he says to, but I always just think of Dexy's Midnight Runners. There's a band called The Cars. I think there's just a song called Best Friend's Girl. But yeah, he's got like a record collection and he's really into his music. But on the radio, to be honest, at weekends, it was mainly football though. It was football commentary.
That's good. It's good. It's really cool though. I can imagine that. Do you think it shaped your taste nowadays anyhow?
No, because I'm like a house music girl. I don't think my dad is like, I don't know. No, he wasn't playing the like techno bangers. So
that could be cool though.
But I think just being around someone who has like a passion for music, and I know music was a big part of my dad's youth. He was like always like sing, and really enjoyed like going to concerts and growing up and experiencing the kind of music out. So I think just growing up with someone who has that passion, I guess, will kind of rub off.
No, that's very interesting. Also interesting how you like have this global experience and then you ended up in MENA. And like thinking about that, I have a question about how you actually decided to come here. Like why what drew you to Dubai and to MENA overall?
Yeah, well, this was probably one of those spontaneous decisions.
Okay.
But yeah, I had been working at Meta in London, and it was a 12-month contract. And to be honest, I was doing the music partnerships then. It was amazing. Like the team were amazing, and it was a bit of a dream job. So I was doing a maternity cover contract. So at the end of the contract, I was just a bit like, I don't really know where I would go because that was kind of my dream. So I'm like, where would I go from here? And I was on Team EMEA. So I was kind of seeing some of the things that were happening in the music industry in the Middle East as part of that role. And being totally honest, it was a gut feeling. There was just something in my gut that was like, just go to the Middle East. I think if you can become an expert in the region now, it's going to really serve you in the future. And literally that was it. And then I moved.
Insane. God. Also, like while you were in this role and you were covering the EMEA and everything, have you noticed any difference in terms of the role of music in everyday lives of people, like compared like in MENA and in other areas of the world?
Well, I think one of the amazing things about music is that it's global. So I think it brings people together, which I think is one of the like really beautiful things about music. So it can bring people from all over the world together in one place to dance together and celebrate together, which, you know, is what life should be about. And I think that's something that it happens all over the world with music. So that's what I love is actually, I guess, what is the same about it, I guess, rather than different, is that it does bring people together and makes people dance.
Oh, that's really, really cool. Have you faced any like challenges while you're here and you're trying to see and investigate the local scene, and then like you're building this amazing festival and everything? Like any challenges for like particularly in the local scene or something like something unique, maybe?
I wouldn't say any challenges. I think with IMS Dubai being an international brand and obviously me being from the UK, it's just making sure that we are being, super respectful to the people who have created the scene here, the artists who are from the region. And I think I guess the challenge is just to make sure that we are representing the region as it should be. And we want IMS Dubai to represent the whole of the Middle East, not just the UAE. In the curation, we've really wanted people from all over. So we have speakers from Jordan, Qatar,
Amazing.
Bahrain, Morocco, Palestine. There's a real kind of, a real representation of the Middle East because there's different things happening all over. And I think it's really great to get that all-rounded view of all the exciting things that are happening across the different countries here.
That's really, really cool. Also, like thinking about the local scene and everything, I want to talk a little bit about the traditional sounds and the modern music kind of thing, because it seems to me that like traditional sounds are having like sort of a comeback in modern music. I don't know. Yeah, okay, you're nodding then. How do you see this trend evolving in MENA as well?
Yeah, do you know what? I absolutely love it. I love it when you hear traditional sounds, and I think everyone should be so proud of their culture. And if you're a creator and an artist, from there, if you can bring some culture and heritage into your music then, and it works for you, then absolutely. And I think kind of authenticity comes across so well. People really respond well to it. So if you're kind of incorporating sounds that you've grown up with or that your parents or grandparents, used to play, then you're incorporating that's a part of you. It's a part of your story.
Yeah.
And I think music, it is quite emotional, like it can be.
Absolutely.
So I think if you're kind of putting a bit of your soul and your story into music, that's always going to like come off with positive vibes, like 100%.
Do you see like this trends in terms of like the traditional sounds come back and across like the modern MENA musicians, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some incredible DJs who I've seen doing that recently. I think one that's kind of really gone viral, I guess, is Naraya and her boiler room when she had her dad play the oud at the start.
Lovely.
And then she mixed in her set and then started the set with her dad playing the oud, and it was incredible.
Wow.
And, it was something so different as well. And that obviously had such an amazing response, and that was really a kind of catalyst to where she is now, because she's having an amazing career, as she should. And Salia as well. I'm a huge fan of Salia. She mixes like traditional Arabic sounds with hip hop, with Britney Spears' Toxic. I've heard her drop, and it's just insane. And it works and it goes off. And
sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sounds like I really want to listen to it after this one.
Salia's Boiler Room as well. Check them both out.
Wow, really sounds amazing. So are there maybe any new genres that emerged because of this blend?
Well, someone was actually telling me the other week about a genre called, and I hope I say this right, Maraganat, which is emerging in Egypt, and it's kind of a mix of popular Egyptian folk music but with electro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, sounds amazing, right?
Lovely. Do you know anyone who represents the genre for now, or no? No, but we're looking forward though. It sounds sick.
Yeah.
Sounds sick.
Someone said I've got it on my list. I was like, I need to check this out and like have a look into it, because I was like, that sounds amazing.
Sounds really, really cool, actually. Lovely. And then also, it kind of reminds me of the project 174, I think. But you spearheaded the innovative project like that. The core of the project is the drum and bass influence in the region, right? You're bringing the drum and bass to the region, is that correct?
Yeah, so with Project 174, so I've just seen a big rise, especially in the UK, but also in the US, kind of globally, with drum and bass, like making a huge comeback. Chase and Status have been huge spearheads of that. They've had, I think, 2 huge #1 tracks in the UK. They just did a huge show at Milton Keynes Bowl, I think to about 40,000 people. So it's really kind of having its moment again, which is great. And then I feel kind of there's place in Dubai for more kind of that underground culture. Right. So I launched, Project 174 at P7, which is, drum and bass party. So we'll bring a headliner. So far we had Andy C. coming up on the 16th of November. We've got Goldie, which is going to be great. But then I also bring in residents, like local residents. So we have a DJ called Motion, who's from Cairo, and he's so talented. I mean, he can play pretty much any genre, but he's unreal at drum and bass. So he's one of our Project 174 residents. So
Amazing.
it's a real kind of, eclectic mix of DJs on the lineup every time. And we're really excited.
Sounds really cool. Sounds like there is a possibility of a new genre as well when you mash up the local and the drum and bass and everything. Maybe
let's see.
Else.
That would be cool.
Amazing. And then also continuing the thought of how the music changes, and one might say that the digital platforms have completely transformed the music industry, like overall. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, digital platforms have completely transformed the music industry. I think it's...
How do you think? Like, why and how?
Well, just the way you purchase music, first and foremost. People haven't been going into HMV for years and buying the CDs. And I think people are streaming now.
Right.
And I think everything's like cyclical. I think people are streaming, and then there is actually a bit of a kind of... I think people are going back to wanting to own something.
Right.
And, I think there's been an increase in vinyl sales again over the last few years. Obviously, some artists have done really well in the Web3 space with NFTs and building communities via that way. So I think there's so many conversations around streaming and the move away from physical sales. But then also I think with digital platforms comes innovation, and obviously AI, AR, VR, Web3. It allows a lot of room for innovation and creativity, which I think is a plus. And there have been some artists who have really kind of jumped on that and elevated their careers from it. Yeah, I was thinking more with kind of like people wanting to own stuff. So with artists with the NFTs, that's obviously something, whether it's an exclusive track, or it's the stems of a track, or it's an image. With that, it's even it's a digital token, but then people can own that, and then they can own a part of that artist's story, and with that build community. So I think that's the way kind of artists have been using digital, the rise in digital.
I think
platforms.
It's a cool thing that they have like this collectible item sort of like. Do you collect, by the way, any CDs or vinyl yourself? Like maybe you collect anything physical? No? Only the digital as well, right?
Yeah, and then vinyls, I do buy records. I do love buying records, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if there is like I love Jamie XX, so I will always get his albums on vinyl. So yeah, there's certain people, if they release a vinyl, I will always get it.
How many do you have for now?
I don't know. They're all in the UK. I miss them. I need to get them over. I always think it, but I don't know.
If anyone from the UK is listening to this, we need your help in transport. So cargo, I guess it's going to be like a huge
If anyone's got
house.
an empty case, they're bringing over.
And then moving on, actually also thinking about the social media and the technology and the digital habits that we are developing now, and projecting on the experience you have at MENA as well. Do you think social media and like streaming have shaped the musical trends of the past years, and how, if so? Because the TikTok music is becoming like such a thing, and then the mashups, and everybody are starting to experiment again, and a lot of IP discussion about that and everything. So do you think MENA played a huge role in the new trends, in the modern trends and genres?
Yeah, I think both Meta and TikTok are huge for music discovery. If you ask where people discover artists and discover music, I think the majority would say they're social platforms.
Oh, really? So like a searchable platform for them is like a discovery platform. It's not Apple Music anymore or something like this, but it's like... Yeah,
well, people will they'll discover their artist on TikTok, discover a track on TikTok. If it's going viral, then they'll kind of move over to streaming platforms and, to there. But definitely for music discovery, TikTok and Meta, like Instagram Reels is a huge part of that. And if you think about kind of the UK charts, a lot of the tracks that have been number one, I know kind of like Eliza Rose, Baddest of Them All, there was that LF System, Afraid to Feel, a lot of the big, I guess they're both dance examples, but other genres as well. It's from TikTok. Like they've really popped off on TikTok. They've gone viral, and that's kind of then moved over into streams and into everything else. So yeah, it's vital really now.
Do you think they shape the taste or like the future or anything? I mean, the platforms themselves, do they shape what musicians are coming up with in order to become viral or something?
Yeah, I think so. I know there was kind of talk about artists making shorter tracks just for kind of reels, just for TikTok.
Yeah.
But I do think authenticity always comes into play. I think if you're making a track and you're making it in a way because you think that will go viral on TikTok, you know, you might get lucky once or twice. But I do think, you know, with music, I think authenticity is the way to go. Just make something for you that you want to create, that's your sound, that's a story you want to tell, and let that do its work rather than thinking what will go viral on TikTok, you know?
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Yeah, and the authenticity, and also with the new genres that emerge, the blend up the authentic sounds. And although maybe it's not very correct to say authentic sounds rather than like traditional sounds, and then like the modern music, and it becomes something authentic, I guess.
Yeah, just what's authentic to the artist, to you, you know?
Yeah. Do you think still, like, considering that you've been in Amsterdam Dance Week and you're a very dance music girl, do you think there is still space for like traditional sounds and traditional music overall? Maybe not within the blend, but like overall, just something that people are used to do with their instruments and everything. Is there still a place for that, or only techno is the way to go?
No, there's 100% space for that. There's nothing better than, you know, live music and experiencing different cultures and hearing sounds from different regions. Like, I think that's so beautiful. That always will be. That will never go away.
You are listening to STR, the Sandy Times Radio, culture, music, and beyond.
I'm actually remembering that in the UK, both in the UK and in ADM, so the Dance Week in Amsterdam, I think both times different DJs playing African or Arabic inspired techno music or something. And it was like many years ago, actually. So maybe it is like, it was something that is now growing, becoming bigger, and now we're ended up in the place where IMS actually came to Dubai.
Yeah,
is very interesting. And it's the first time in 17 years, right? They're doing it something outside Ibiza.
So there've been IMS, there was IMS Asia Pacific, and they've done a few in the US, but it is the first time in the Middle East.
It's the first time in the Middle East. And why do you think they chose Dubai as their place?
There's so much happening in Dubai in the electronic music scene at the moment that it just seemed a real obvious place to launch the summit. Every weekend there's obviously kind of some of the biggest DJs in the world here. You've got brands like Ushuaia, Tomorrowland, the huge global dance brands all opening up. So I think for the first summit in the Middle East, it just seemed like the right choice for this one. But we're based in Dubai, but it's with a huge focus on MENA, and we have a market focused panel that's focused on Egypt because their dance music scene there is super exciting. So even though we're based in Dubai, it's definitely kind of, the summit still incorporates all of MENA.
Region oriented.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think makes IMS Dubai and IMS Middle East unique, like compared to other versions and series of IMS events around the world?
Yeah, well, this is obviously the first one we've done here, so that's super exciting. And the speakers are primarily all from the region. So I think that's amazing to be really shining a light on the thought leaders and the pioneers of the dance music scene across the Middle East. And then we have some incredible performances. We've got some artists, some kind of high profile artists from the region involved, but also working with some of the kind of underground collectives here.
Lovely.
And what we really want to do with that is show the side to Dubai that I think a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, right.
That there is a lot of there is that underground scene. You know, you have the huge, shiny, amazing clubs and big DJs, but you also have a lot of kind of young creatives really doing their own thing and starting their own parties and, you know, doing some cool events in basements in Al Barsha that people just would never think about with Dubai. So we kind of wanted to shine a light on that side as well. So I think when people come, they'll be really excited. And I think it will really open their eyes to a lot of just the really exciting things that happen in Dubai and the rest of the Middle East.
Amazing. And then can you tell me about the selection criteria for the musicians and how the process looks like? Like, do they reach out to you as a curator, comedy, or like, do you find them? How do you source them?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. So when we announced IMS Dubai, we did a call out and people could submit. And that's a really great way for us to see kind of what talent is out there, both industry and artist. So we do go through all of the submissions and we read everyone. And it's good as well because people will submit themselves, but also say, hey, you know, what about so-and-so? And they'll call out people who they've been inspired by, who they've seen doing things in the scene. And that's amazing for us. We also have a curation committee, which is made up of key players from the region. So we have Timmy from Scene Noise, in Egypt. We have Rania here, who's the founder of Copia. So we've got we've got a really great committee as well that helps us. And then we'll also have people in mind. For example, we have Salia as a speaker, and that was someone who I just thought it would be really important to have as part of the summit. So I approached her. And yeah, so it both ways really, submissions, people's recommendations, suggestions from the committee, and then people who we've kind of interacted with ourselves or have heard of or seen doing things that we will then reach out to.
Do you have any interesting story of how you ended up finding out about like and uncovering like this treasure talent somewhere, maybe?
I think it's just, I guess, two things: being kind of in the industry. So you're out, and I'm just lucky to every day really meet new people who are passionate about what they do and exciting. So I think it's just from being here for the last 2 years, and I'm putting a big effort into building my network. So I don't think there's no like secret. It's a lot of hustle, to be honest, and like hard work and making sure you're, just building the network and just trying to like be aware. So I always kind of watch things like boiler rooms, social media, and just keeping kind of an eye on that as well of artists who are trending, and speaking to people as well. Like I love asking people like, who are they listening to? Who are they loving at the minute? And I think that's one of the amazing things about Dubai that I was kind of with. I was at an event the other night, and it was like me, and then there was a guy from Egypt, a girl from Lebanon, a girl from Tunisia, and we're all talking, like sharing our stories of events and artists, and it was just like we're all like learning so much from each other.
Cool.
And I just love those conversations. So I think it's just having more of those conversations with people, then you end up just kind of building your network, building your knowledge, and then all of that contributes, I guess, when you kind of then come to curating an event like IMS Dubai.
How do you recharge your social battery after such a hustle?
Yoga.
Nice.
I like yoga, breath work.
Nice.
Ice, and then sleep when I can, when I get the chance.
I know, it's good. They should invent a sleeping yoga. It's like an hour and a half of haha, and that's it.
You just go for a nap. Perfect.
And that's it. But like, I mean, you dress and then you come and have a coffee and then just lie down for shavasana for an hour. I think that sounds amazing. And also building a festival. It sounds super exciting, but sounds extremely challenging and tough at the same time. For those listening and wondering what's the process, can you uncover like what's the actual process? How do you build a festival? Like if there is an instruction.
Well, I guess IMS is a summit kind of, so I guess it's slightly different to a festival, but there's definitely a lot of elements of the process that's the same. So first and foremost was the venue. So finding the right venue, having to look at different spaces. Also, as this was year one, we just had no idea what the reception would be.
Right.
So when we're looking for venue, it's important to have somewhere we could scale up if we needed. So we're doing at the MENA Sahai. And what was amazing is they do have different spaces we can activate. So we kind of had a, plan A, plan B, plan C, depending on ticket sales and response. And luckily it's actually been absolutely incredible. So we're activating all the spaces.
Oh, nice.
But that was the first and foremost. Second is finding a ticketing platform. So we've gone with Platinum List here, and then also looking into permits. So as a lot of people will know, in Dubai, you need permits for your events. So we needed a business event permit, and then also a performance permit for the DJs for the panels. So it's kind of all of that. I guess like admin almost. And then the fun begins. And then when we kind of had all that, then it was looking into what panels what topics we wanted to discuss.
And that's why it's a summit and not a festival, because you have this part, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's like a big education part. It's about, education, connection, collaboration. That's kind of really, a huge big part of IMS in general. And yeah, so then we have the panels, and then it's kind of curating them and then putting together the parties. So
the fun part.
Yeah.
Lovely. And also besides the education and music and culture, IMS also mentions finance. And I can wrap my head around the culture, music and everything. But what about the finances over there?
Yeah, so we've included finance in this summit because, music business is a business and finance is a big part of it. And, there's a lot of opportunity in Dubai with regards to investment and investors. And that's something that we thought it was important to shine a light on and to give people access. So we have a Meet the Investors panel where there is people there who actually do invest in entertainment. So people have the opportunity to meet them, but also to hear their story and how it works. I think obviously creativity and passion is such a huge part of a lot of people who are in the music industry, but in the world that we live in, sometimes to get those ideas off the ground, finance is needed. So we thought it was kind of really important to showcase that as part of the summit.
Lovely. Do you have any panels that you are very excited about and you're looking forward to be on them?
I mean, all of them, to be honest. I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. I actually think it's going to be such so many interesting discussions, and I am really excited. From a personal point, with my Women in Music platform, Little Pink Book, I've curated and I'm hosting the MENA Women in Music panel. I just always love speaking to kind of inspirational ladies and hearing their stories, and the hope that their stories will obviously kind of inspire other, as many young women as possible to get in the music industry. So I'm really excited about that. There is a Dubai and Ibiza duality panel, which, being a big Ibiza girl and then obviously now living here, I just think that's going to be really interesting to kind of see how that has happened over the years. And we've got some of the big players who are playing a role in that, on that panel. And then there's one on Dubai underground scene and culture. And that one's going to be really cool, I think,
Sounds
really
amazing.
Interesting.
Sounds super amazing, actually. Yeah, for everybody, especially if you just moved here, that would be such an opportunity, to learn more about the city where you're at. It's super,
absolutely.
super interesting.
And we have some of the real kind of thought leaders and pioneers of the Dubai underground scene. So I just think it's going to be so interesting because there's been so much change over the last 5 years, never mind 10 years, So to really hear from the people who have pioneered that and seen that, I just think it's going to be so interesting.
Amazing. I know that you also have a talk that's called Taking MENA Artists to the Global Stage.
Yeah.
Can we discuss it as well a little bit? Because I know that you consult as well musicians and everything. And is there any secret, or what's the secret sauce or something, how to do that?
No, there's not a secret sauce. But I just think, it's like anything, right? It's hard work, it's dedication, collaboration, a bit of luck. We've got Cosmic Cat who's speaking on the panel, and I think her story's amazing. And she's kind of, played some incredible events in Saudi, playing Soundstorm, but is now also going global, being on the global stage. She's played at High in Ibiza, at Tomorrowland. She's producing. And I think, it's going to be really amazing to hear from an artist, who has done it and who is a success story, her story. So maybe she knows the secret sauce and she'll tell us all.
That would be lovely though. No, it's just publishing the Vicky How after this would be very nice. How do you see Dubai, IMS Dubai, evolving over the next few years? Because you've said that there already has been so much change in the industry, and I'm curious, maybe there are any exciting plans or anything?
So we see IMS building here in the region. What we really want to do is build community. As I said before, it's, a huge pillar of IMS is education. Also access, giving, DJs and producers and people who are maybe early on in their career access to these big players and thought leaders. I always think that's really important. And it's all about sharing knowledge. The discussions that we have at IMS Dubai, that's what it's all about collaboration and sharing knowledge. And then what we always say is kind of what we really want IMS to be, not just IMS Dubai, but IMS globally, really is a catalyst for positive change from the boardroom to the dance floor. And we just want to keep showcasing the potential and the opportunity here in the region globally. And how it develops, we also want other people to help lead that as well. So, this is year one, and if there were certain people who weren't involved in this one, that people would love to see next time, let us know. If there are discussions people want to lead themselves or they want to hear about, we want to, have IMS Dubai as the big community, and we all work together. And we all kind of, we want to bring something of value every year. So, just kind of, we're excited and hope other people are too.
Lovely. Do you have any maybe specific goals in terms of what do you want to contribute to MENA music scene anyhow, or like just maybe specific ways in terms of how you contribute to it other than?
Yeah, well, I think collaboration is a big one. So we have a lot of international industry players attending, and then obviously a lot of local. So I think collaboration is something that sits really at the heart of IMS, and something that we, definitely want to keep pushing. I think the education aspect, again, is huge. And I think just keeping to kind of opening up people's eyes to local artists, and the more kind of artists we can give a platform to as IMS Dubai, then the better. So I think
that is so cool.
Yeah. So I think there's and like I say, this is year one, and we just hope to grow year on year and keep being more artful and bringing positive change.
And speaking of the positive change, and also coming back to the Little Pink Book, because I was very impressed by the platform and how you guys do it, and just in general the idea. Maybe there are any shifts that you've noticed in how women artists are perceived in the music industry over the past couple of years?
I think what has happened, which is amazing and which is a really huge part of Little Pink Book, is women coming together. I think, there was a point where women were almost like pitted against each other because there would be like one spot. And actually, I think kind of women have kind of collectively pushed back on that and been like, no, and that's what I love. Like, I have so many amazing women that I know in the music industry, and everyone's so collaborative, supportive, really wanting to help other women.
Nice.
There's a lot of now like mentorship schemes, and I just think, there's still a lot of work to be done, but it is an exciting time to be a woman in the music industry. And there's a lot of women now kind of doing amazing things and really breaking through, and that's what we want to see. We just want to see more of it, and then more women in those headline slots, which we're getting there.
And you already named a few, but maybe can you name some of the female collectives from the region that you love?
So Sound Sisters Morocco are really inspirational. They're doing some incredible things, and we've got Maria speaking at IMS Dubai, so you'll be able to hear more about her story and what Sound Sisters are doing. So I'm super excited about that. I think she's amazing, and the whole gang.
Oh, that's very nice. Do you know, I have a question about the future, because you, as a consultant, you have a tendency, you people from the consultancy, have a tendency to know what's going to happen.
Okay. Well.
So what do you think will be the next big trend in the global music scene?
Yeah, well, do you know what? I really hope to see that it is more Arab influence.
Oh, really? Oh,
I think,
nice.
Adam Port from Crime Music, he did a remix of an Ahmadiyya track, and that went off. And I think it's kind of, you have DJs now like Naraya and Salia who are in Kazakhstan, and it just seems to be received incredibly well. And let's hope. Let's hope.
So you could see MENA actually contributing to it drastically, in the future.
100%.
Years.
Already are it's just kind of I think just more of that influence. And I love the sounds anyway. I love kind of Salia's remixes and her mixes. So
How do you think the industry and the genres, or maybe the way how we listen to music, will transform in the upcoming decade?
Gosh, who knows with the way technology is. The way technology is going, we could all be, I don't know, having microchip with our favourite songs on that
could be cool.
Listen to.
Destiny's Child.
Yeah, I would just have Destiny's Child microchip. That would be
Me
really
too.
dope.
No, definitely. I'm there with you.
So yeah, I don't know who. I mean, who knows? To be honest, but yeah, like, I think everything is kind of cyclical in a way. Like I said, like actually physical and vinyls and the ownership of music and more of an interaction rather than, I think streaming can be quite a passive experience. You can have a playlist on and Spotify is almost choosing the tracks for you and you might not even know the artist you're listening to. So that can be quite a passive music experience, whereas I think people are really kind of, I don't know, crave that bit more of a connection again. And in real life event, you know, after COVID, really trusting in live music again and being excited about live music and events, and which I think is so important. There's just nothing better than being at a gig or being in a field with your best friends, like seeing your favourite artist. So I think people are more moving towards actually that connection element, which is great. And I think that's important for artists because you're kind of like super fans, the ones who are really connected in you are kind of your pillar really, and then everything else is built around that.
Do you have any sort of a dream project that you would want to do during your career and lifetime?
Oh gosh, I mean, do you know what, I'm not just saying it, but IMS Dubai has been a dream project really. Like being able to launch, I love being a first, like being able to launch something new is so incredibly exciting. Like it's such an honor to be a part of it. And I think I love the kind of education aspect around IMS Dubai, and it's kind of got all the stuff that I love, like positive change, education, but then some like sick parties. So being able to be a part of it all and be a part of something that I really hope is exciting for the region and does make a real impact in the music industry here. And it seems that a lot of people are really excited about it, which is exactly what we wanted.
So much, really. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed your hour with us. And thank you. Have a wonderful day. Listen to some Destiny's Child and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you, Roberta.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Stay tuned for our next episode to enrich your lives and give you some food for thought. STR loves you. Bye-bye.